Minister, having served from 1998 until 2010. Newzroom Afrika's Vuyo Mvoko joins us now live from Cape Town. It's a memorial service that's been ongoing since after 11 o'clock. A number of high-profile guests of Vuyo and also some special memories being shared.
Indeed, lots of people spoke, and each and every one of them saying really the same thing, just how committed this man was to his country, to his people, and how he applied himself to each and every task that he was given, and how, of course, unlike many people these days, he lived a life that was clean. He was never, not once, accused of corruption. And my guests are people who have benefited handsomely from that legacy that people like Membathisi Mdladlana have actually bestowed on South Africans. I am joined by Justine, Allende, who is a member of the ANC's Provincial Executive Committee here in the Western Cape, but also Zwelinzima Vavi, who is, of course, the General Secretary of the South African, of Saftu, also a former General Secretary of the Congress of South African Trade Unions, to which, of course, Mdladlana belonged, formerly as a president of Saftu, but also, of course, in later years when he was deployed by the unions to government. Good afternoon to both of you, gentlemen. Thank you very much for talking to us. You are part of today's memorial service. You heard what everyone had to say about this man, and both your constituencies, if I may call them that, have benefited, have not only benefited, but also have seen what happens when some of the things that Mdladlana is said to have bestowed on us do not actually, or don't get carried through. I'm going to start with you, Zwelinzima. Only this week you were talking about new laws that are being considered, and how you felt that they were a betrayal of what people like Mdladlana and Tito Mboweni, whom we buried only last weekend, actually stood for and fought for in this country.
What an irony indeed, that in the very same week that we were burying Tito Mboweni, the pioneer of those labor laws and the transformation of the apartheid labor market into what we have today, and on the eve of the sending off of Membathisi Mdladlana, we were forced to go in public and to make an alarm and shout out to the rest of the workers and the working class that we are under siege, we are under attack, and that the gains that we thought were secured under democracy are being threatened by yet another round of amendments that are meant to reverse the gains workers have made in a democracy. So in the name of both of these ministers, who followed by the way each other in government, Tito Mboweni was the very first minister, Membathisi Mdladlana was the very second minister. Both of them played a very critical role in ensuring that we have this platform of defense for workers flowing from the Constitution of South Africa. Indeed, the send-off of Membathisi was such a befitting. I mean, the tributes by, in particular, Sipho Pityana, who was the Director General during that whole process of transformation, as well as the Deputy President of the country, Paul Mashatile, and the family, the friends of Membathisi Mdladlana. It was people who know him very, very well. We are quite pleased to have been part of this assembly.
Justine, I mean, many years ago, well, not too many years ago, but when the ANC lost the province, Membathisi Mdladlana was one of the people who tried to rejuvenate, the organization. Of course, that never happened. As we speak, for the very first time after the May 29 elections, the ANC lost its majority nationally. And as we speak, the leaders of your organization are gathered in the form of the National Executive Committee meeting in Gauteng, trying to look at what can be done to change your fortunes around. And here we were today talking about the great things that Membathisi Mdladlana did to build this organization to which he dedicated his entire life to.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. It is, as Comrade Vavi said, it was a very fitting tribute to him, and the honor that was bestowed upon him by our government to award him a special funeral, or not funeral, but a memorial service. It's fitting to his role and legacy that he played both in the ANC as a cadre, who has always been at the forefront of trying to ensure that we have a strong organization, that we root our organization amongst our people. And that is what we have lost, I think. And that is why the NEC today is meeting to look at those issues of integrity, of honesty, and to ensure that we reshape the ANC and put it on a new path of renewal. On Monday, the NEC, together with all provincial executives of the ANC, will gather virtually and physically to look at what we think is the start of the renewal of the ANC, to ensure that all our members understand that the values, the principles, and all the issues, the things that Comrade Shepard stood for, is re-inculcated in the ANC, so that we re-root the ANC amongst our people, in service of our people first, that we deal with the issues of malfeasance and corruption, and we get rid of all these people who have come to the ANC for their personal interest and benefit, so that we can pay homage and respect the life of Comrade Shepard, because that is what he was. You are correct, when the ANC was in trouble in the province, he was appointed as the convener, and he has really set the ANC on a new path. And this is what the new Provincial Executive Committee is also doing, trying to refocus the ANC, rebuild the ANC and unite it, and get rid of factionalism and all the wrong things.
If you were to be given a minute on Monday, which is what I'm giving you now, to say how do all the things you've mentioned get addressed? How do you change the situation of not just the ANC faithful, but of South Africans, learning from what the likes of Mdladlana have actually bestowed on us?
Yes. Look, when the life of Comrade Shepard is rooted in the fact that he was completely and totally committed to our people first. The decision to become a teacher is a decision of service. The decision to become a leader and to organize worker is a decision of service. The decision to serve in government, be a pioneer in our country, at the forefront of changing the labor regime and labor laws in our country in favor of our workers and our people, is what we must strive for. And in practical terms, what the ANC must do is to ensure that our members are recommitted to our people, have programs in our communities, take up the day-to-day battles of our people as they suffer under poverty, inequality, and unemployment, and make sure that we change our people's lives, but in much more practical terms than we did before, not just talking, but actually have people who are rooted amongst our people, like Comrade Shepard was.
Workers, you said, are under attack. You have a battle in your hands. You are given 1 minute to say, how do you move forward, but not only as Saftu, but as the entire labor union movement, including, of course, the other federations that you are not part of?
Can I abuse this platform and as the former General Secretary of COSATU and say, if I was to be asked what went wrong for the ANC to lose its majority first amongst the working class communities, I would say the ANC lost it here first and didn't develop a strategy and to address what were clearly fundamental fault lines of disunity within the working class. The ANC lost it when there was identity politics and factionalism between the so-called colored working class and the so-called black working class. And there was that divide that they couldn't just manage.
Well, you were there. Why didn't you stop it?
Look, I came here personally, having been part of the Secretariat meeting that said, let's go and fix the problem. I came alone. There was no SACP, there was no ANC. I came alone and set down the COSATU structures, met the ANC leadership at that time to say, yeah, and who said to me, yeah, is the source of problem. We can't manage this division in the Western Cape, but now that decision has gone west in that even the so-called black Africans are now demobilized because of the extent to which they are being ravaged by the economic fault lines.
Fast forward to 2024, what needs to be done now that you're saying the new raft of laws being contemplated are actually taking the workers back and undoing what your Tito Mbowenis and your Membathisi Mdladlanas actually did?
What we have not won, let me repeat that. What we have not won in the streets, you are not going to win in the boardroom. There is no point of crying. Don't cry, mobilize. That's our message to workers. Now is the time to go back to the streets and defend those gains of Mboweni, Mdladlana, and the origin of the need to transform, the original agenda to transform the labor market and to make workers feel that they have a stake, not as the most exploited, but as the economic players that have needs for a living wage, a right to work under a safe environment, a right to be trained, a right to climb the socio-economic ladder and to provide for their kids. That's the new battle now. We're not going to allow this government or anybody else to pull wool on our eyes when we are being attacked. We're going to resist. We're going to be in the streets. We are already mobilizing our members to resist.
Well, both of you have roles to play, indeed, to protect the legacy of people like Membathisi Mdladlana, who people were paying tribute to, of which, of course, you were part. But best of luck to both of you in that task for the sake of the people of South Africa. Special thanks to both my guests, of course, which brings an end to our coverage today of the official memorial service of Membathisi Mdladlana, former Labour Minister, but also former top diplomats. People really having lots and lots to say about him as a person, the contribution that he made, but the contributions, I should perhaps say, he made to the entire body politic, both as a Labour leader, but also as a politician and as a member of parliament and cabinet minister. We are going to continue in a short while to talk these sorts of matters, as of course Valen gets to speak to Willis Mchunu, former ANC leader in KwaZulu-Natal, who has now assumed a new role as the convener, coordinator of the MK party in that home province of his. Valen will have that and more coming up after this short ad break.